Well, here we go. So yeah, Chris Pratt's new movie continues an impressive 5-movie box office streak. Obviously, we're literally just talking about Garfield being a success, and I guess a little bit of Chris Pratt being an individual that mainstream media seems to want to hate for some bizarre reason. They're like, "Oh my god, Chris Pratt! His movies are doing well." Yeah, he's a pretty likable guy to normal people. Just seems to be media that hates him for some unbeknownst reason. But look, the Garfield movie marks Chris Pratt's 5th consecutive box office success with a strong opening weekend and promising financial prospects ahead. Despite mixed reviews from critics, the film's family-friendly appeal suggests it will continue drawing audiences and contributing to Pratt's impressive streak. So what did it do? We got the total amount here. Where is it? So, with the Garfield movie well on its way to becoming a financial success, it will be Chris Pratt's 5th consecutive box office hit in a row. The Garfield movie's opening weekend was a box office triumph as the film grossed $97 million from a $60 million budget. And while this technically means the movie can't be labeled a financial hit yet, it seems inevitable that it will profit eventually. Yeah, I think it might do. I don't know if it will at the box office. I think it absolutely will on secondary markets. But there you go. I mean, that's essentially it, really.
Well, my argument would be it's probably already there because this is one of those films I believe that is already sold to a streaming service.
Yeah, that's what I'm secondary markets.
Yeah. So with its earnings, oh, by the way, and this one is it's not over 2 hours. It's only 101 minutes. So,
that's right for kids. This is a kids film. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, and it's short. I mean, and honestly, I think that likely after we get the updated numbers today, I think it'll be over 100 million global, and I think that the argument to be largely, gone. Tom, this thing didn't cost anything to make, did it? It was super.
That's
cheap.
what I'm hearing. Because it only cost 60 million according to their budget.
Right.
But the thing with Sony is they pre-sell their movies to Netflix or is it Netflix or Amazon?
I think it's Netflix for Sony.
I think it's Netflix. So they probably were in the black before it even hit theaters. And then this thing has been doing very well overseas already. My understanding is at this point, pretty much past this weekend, all the money they're going to be making is probably going to be gravy. And they've had a lot of tie-ins, a lot of help promoting this thing. Somebody was making fun of all the production companies that are in front of this movie too. So that might get in the way of the movie being profitable. But at the end of the day, I'm actually surprised. I know we kind of got into it a little bit earlier. Garfield is a franchise, but it's not something that has ever drawn people in. Like, I think the only reason people went to see the original film was because of Bill Murray more than anything. The second film kind of flopped. It didn't flop, but it didn't do. I think it only did like half of what the first one did, if I remember right. And they didn't see a reason to do a third one. So, I'm more surprised that the movie has done as well as it has, and I think the only reason it's done as well as it has is because Disney isn't competition anymore, and they need something for kids, and Sony and Universal now are eating their lunch when it comes to these kind of movies.
Well, just I mean, you're only focusing on the previous movies. Garfield is huge. It is huge.
Is he still though? That's my question. He was huge in the 80s throughout the 90s, but I mean, that was my point is I think that the movie in the 2000s movie didn't like exactly break the box office. So I would say, yeah, he's well known, but I didn't see a bunch of people going, "Oh, I want a Garfield movie," like.
Yeah, no. Back in 2020, Garfield merchandise would be about $750 to $1 billion in annual sales. So yeah, it's huge.
That's not too bad.
$1 billion in merch sales, that's massive.
Yeah, but he's on everything. It's like a lot of times when you buy something, it's not because you're buying it because he's on it. See,
No,
it's,
I
like,
think it is for
it's kind of
Garfield.
like the Peanuts like that, though. No, but I mean, I guess you got to understand what I'm saying here. Yes, he's popular. Yes, people know who he is. Yes, he's as recognizable as most other characters like Mickey Mouse, Mario Brothers. I'd admit you show Garfield to most kids, they'd know who he was. But my point is, there really this pent up desire for people to actually go out to see a Garfield movie. I think it did well mainly just because there's less out there for kids. My point is, if this was up against something else kids right now, because there's nothing, it's like a dearth for kids entertainment. I don't think Garfield would have done as well, is my point. Like, even Inside Out 2 is coming in what, 2-3 weeks, Culture? When is it?
Yeah, we're coming up on that. Holy cow, I forgot.
We'll see how that does.
What's been released there?
Inside Out 2.
And then you've got the Minions or the Despicable Me one coming out in what?
That one will do good. That one will do well.
First week of June, so that's this weekend. So that movie might turn around and just kill this movie completely. So like, that's my point. Is if when Despicable Me, what is it, 4 or whatever they're on now, comes out this next weekend here. I mean, actually, if this movie just falls off a cliff, there's your answer. It's just because there was nothing else, and this is Memorial Day weekend.
Hey, hang on. Despicable Me is not in theaters until July 3rd.
I thought it was June 7th. It was in theaters.
No. June 14th is Inside Out.
Okay, maybe I was flopping. I don't know what. I thought it came out against Bad Boys though.
Well, I'm looking at the release date right now.
I guess I'm wrong. I thought it did. My bad.
Well, anyway, it's done really well, which is good. I think it was always bound to, because it is a kids' movie. It had.
I waffled. I was gonna go see it, and I'm actually a Garfield fan, so like I actually have a bias towards Garfield, and that's my point. Like, my kid kind of liked Garfield when he's little, but like, yeah, that's kind of my reference, and I don't see his friends or anything like that were growing up on Garfield or anything like that. So I don't know. I wonder if kids really know who he is anymore that well.
Well, but I guess that's why they released the movies, to reintroduce the character to people, isn't it? Really, that's kind of
partially
the reason why they do it. So, but I mean, I think it was always going to do well. Good on Chris Pratt, likable guy.
You realize that not only was this the 5th movie in that streak, it was almost the 5th movie that he's in a row that had $100 million opening or more. So it's pretty impressive.
That's another thing too. I wonder if Pratt was part of the draw, because that's what I said before. Bill Murray really helped the fact that he was that doing
first movie in 2004.
Yeah, because it was like perfect choice at that time. This one, me and a few other people agreed that Pratt wasn't exactly the right choice for Garfield. And it's nothing against him. We like Chris Pratt, but he doesn't invoke Garfield.
No, he doesn't. For sure, he doesn't. But.
And at this point, I don't know why they haven't just gotten Stephen Wright to do the voice. Like, just in general. It's like he should have been the one to take over after Lorenzo Music. It's like the obvious choice.
Yeah. And I'm going to say one last time. Despicable Me is going to do very well. The last film, Despicable Me 3, made over $1 billion in the box office.
Yeah.
Worldwide gross. So I think 4 will perform right in there. I'm not sure it'll make $1 billion, because I don't think any film's going to make $1 billion anytime soon.
It might, though.
No, I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule a kids film out. If there's going to be any film this year that grosses $1 billion, it will be a kids film.
Yeah,
just like Super Mario Brothers.
It'll
be a kids film. It genuinely will be. So I wouldn't rule it out just yet. Anyway, we will shuffle on now. So Depressed Canadian.